Today is December 23rd, 2025, and this is my second video on this special day for today, as I document for my journal this special journal entry for such an awesome Advent. The Advent of DungButter holiday. You know, and it is just coincidental, okay, that it was only back in November, and I think it was actually November 12th or 13th, all right? That's when Butt Cheek holiday was born, and now it just kind of, I don't know, special. It's kind of in the season, that, DungButter holiday emerged on December 23rd, which is today. And today is the first DungButt holiday, with the commemoration to DungButter and everything that DungButt means, and everything DungButter means. And they say that, DungButt only spoke those words, DungButter and DungButt. And he confined everything in life, or she, because, see, it wasn't, I say he, but I stand corrected, okay? DungButt was never reduced to one side or the other regarding the yin and the yang, or the male and the female. All right? Dung, or butter, or butt, or DungButt, and everything that all of that means, okay? DungButt was never reduced to one or the other. But look, on the last one I did, okay, I didn't really capture the whole picture. Plus, the words I see are like written backwards, and I don't understand exactly fully how to manipulate that. But okay, but look, okay, I'm just gonna show you, because I did miss something in my last one. Plus, I want to see if the writing comes out differently in this one. Okay, so I'm just gonna take it from the beginning. Okay, look, when you, all right, that one right there is the one I made the other day. It's hanging, and I got it hanging from the limb. Okay? All right, and that's what that one says. Okay, DungButter declared holy 12/23 in the year of our Lord 2025, believing everyone can have DungButter before the government forces explicitive up your ass. And then, and then I have, this right here, This is kind of like the informative stuff under the grin. It was there in our DungButt. We found faith to survive. And, the motto, we, the people, led by the unknown, have been doing so much with so little, we now know we can do anything with nothing at all. All right. Look, okay. Now here we go. See? The origin of DungButt. DungButt was found here 2 days before Christmas, 2025. America was under siege. Run by asshuckers and clowns. The monsters of Mar-a-Lago. A pedile fiend. Nevertheless, God gave us DungButt. This memorial declares December 23rd a holy day for thanks. And there's one. Alright. During the advent of DungButter. Do I? Do. I love you. I love you too, boo. They made DungButter. Warning. DungButter is only as good as the person making it. And the BANS, which stands for benefits. DungButter will ease the pain of the working ass and keep the mother huck away. Apply to ass crack. And then nothing works like DungButter to keep the crack of your ass smiling. Right now. Okay, there's more serious contemplation here. If I can get it all in there. Alright, let's see. Alright. Now, 2 Grandies. Okay, up there at the top, see, I actually made a typo, okay? It was not 623. It's supposed to be 1223. 2025. I don't know what I did that mistake for, but I did. Okay, RE, DungButter Day. We, the greater, wiser, smarter, and the Dunger, hereby join the fight for true DungButt. Remember, Grandies, we know DungButt is the answer. DungButt is nowhere and everywhere. Is while hid and is not. Last, work hard and keep the crack of your ass smiling. Forever yours. DungButter. Forever yours. DungButter. And then on this other backside of the sign here, see? Right? DungButter found 12/23/2025. Innocent and truly dedicated to one thing. DungButter for all. Alright, so now, I'm just actually assimilating my own self. I'm assimilating my own self, okay? I gotta get it here. Alright. Man, I did a lot of stuff here, look. Not for sissies. Not for sissies. Sissies can't climb the mountain of truth. And sissies will never know what dung butter is. Because dung butter is the secretion from the crack of your ass when you do hard work. Okay? That's what dung butter actually is. Not everybody knows this, but I'm telling you, okay? That's what dung butter means. It means hard work. And I could have went on, like, look, I only could say a couple of things, okay? But I could have went on and on and on writing about, okay, dung butter and the mysteries of dung butter and the origins. And I could have put into the synoptic expositions of dung butter and all that means. All right. And how the dung butter, comes from nothing and yet is everywhere. But every time you try to nail dung butter down, it's nowhere to be found. You might have got confused sometimes, but that's the way dung butt kind of goes in between the lines, okay? And dung butt really only makes dung butt known kind of by surprise in such a way that you can't ever pin dung butt down, because dung butt will not be pinned down. You can't pin dung butt down. Everybody that knows about dung butt and the manufacturing of dung butter and everything that means, and how that some people, can, I don't know, exploit dung butter and kind of what you call, the opportunists, they try to make people think that they got the actual true dung butter. It came from the actual dung butt, and they don't, but they trick people, okay, to get them to follow them, and then people think that no, we found the real dung butter. But no, the real dung butter will never be found. And actually, when you get kind of close to the dung butter, I mean the real true dung butter, coming from the actual straight up dung butt, okay? I mean, when you want to come down to the real essence and the quintessential dung butt, well, you will find and understand, okay, that there is a stratus of reality and truth, okay, that defies understanding. And that is where dung butt can be found, okay? But you will never prove that dung butt was there. No, I don't know why. But this is why dung butt is forever. The one and only dung butt. I mean, and people put forth a lot of effort and stuff like that trying to figure out dung butt, and they can't. Dung butt will never exactly be figured out, okay? You just have to believe that dung butt is here, and this is why today we give dung butt a certain respect, okay? Because dung butt will never be named yet when dung butt has been named, okay? Because the only thing, according to the legend, is ever that dung butt would ever say, and this is only why we call dung butt, is because there's all this person that we call dung butt ever would say. Dung butt and dung butter. you know? He would see something in nature, anything. Like it could be, two animals, even sometimes what comes to mind, is different species of animals coming together and laying together, kind of like, in the story of Jesus in the manger. DungButter was there because the cows, the lambs or sheep or whatever, the chickens, the dogs, the cats, all the friendly creatures gathered, and DungButter was there. DungButter could not be seen. DungButter could not be seen, but DungButter was there. And this is why we know DungButter is self-effacing. DungButter will never take credit for anything. That's why he's, or she, or whatever, that's why DungButter said, DungButter. It was always looking for something that seemed could never be found, but upon reflection, we find DungButter was there all the time. And that is why we worked our ass off. We worked our ass off for DungButter. And we never even knew what DungButter was. But somehow we understood that DungButter was the most valuable thing in all the world. And if we ever could make a holiday for DungButter, 2 days before Christmas would actually be the exactly right time. And this is why I'm really thankful that it has been my privilege to make this, which I do believe is the first memorial to DungButter holiday. The origins of DungButter, the Sitson Leben of DungButter, because DungButter was created right underneath the Devil's Grin. Look. Right underneath the Devil's Grin. And it was there that we found out that we could actually. I don't want to sound like, too boastfully proud or anything, but I'm just saying, without wings, we still believed we would fly. And we did. That's why we the people, led by the unknowing. Really, the way the whole thing goes is, we the people, led by the unknowing, have been doing so much with so little for so long that we are now qualified to do anything with nothing. But I didn't have room to write in all them words, so I wrote, we, the people led by the unknowing, have been doing so much with so little. We now know we can do anything with nothing. Hey. I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna end it right here with this. DungButter, dedicated to one thing. DungButter for all. So, I guess on this last one right here, you know. All right. On this last one right here. All right, yeah. I'm just going to say. Because it is December 23rd. And it's hard for me to actually describe everything DungButter stands for, but I think that, you know, this is the beginning of a new concept that can help, you know, a person like me or maybe a person like you understand the power of DungButter, which is to say, the power of nothing at all. Except you and me. And that's DungButter. So I'm just gonna call this one That's DungButter. All right.